Hi there, wonderful awakening beings and spiritual souls. Jo Rose at jorose.com, numerologist and energy forecaster. In this video, I'm sharing with you the numerology forecast for April 2023. But before I do, let's recap what 2023 has in store for us. It's a 7 energy. How do we know this? By adding together and reducing down all the digits of the current year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. The 7 brings in trust, faith. It's the seeker, the searcher, the analyst. It's reflective, intuitive, insightful. It's about knowledge, introspective, and alone time. The flip side of this energy, because every number has a flip side, is it can be erratic, hesitant, inconsistent, mistrustful, emotionally closed, removed, cynical, secretive, deceptive. The lesson I'm suggesting based around the 7 energy for this month is be open-minded. You don't know what you don't know. And look at your language. You can always be in flow when you have ing on the end of the word. So if you say, I know, I know, I know, eventually the information is going to cease coming to you. If you are knowing, being, doing, learning, getting, growing, there is always room for movement. Everything is energy. Energy cannot disappear. It just changes. So bear this in mind when you are saying you know something. It's about knowing and owning. Let's move on to April. April is the 4th month. So we add 4 to the current year 7 and we get 11. 11 is a master number, but normally for a month we would reduce it down. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we're looking at working with the 2 energy. We can never forget the 11. The 11 will intensify this and make you look at more about the self, your uniqueness and what you bring in. 11 is the number of manifestation. If you ever see 11 on a clock, then you are being nudged into something that you were thinking about or working on prior to seeing that time, or just reminded that there is time to manifest and grow to your desires. What we focus on expands. Only you can get in your own way. The 2 brings in peace, harmony, diplomacy, gentleness. It's patient. It's the number of observation, cooperation, partnership, together, support, and it is also, especially with the 11 attached to it, intuitive. Both the 7 and 11 are highly intuitive. It's time to trust your intuition. It's time to trust the downloads. It's time to trust the aha. If something doesn't feel right, it isn't. Become your best friend. Your intuition is your sat-nav. The flip side of the 2 energy can bring for the month the energy of oversensitivity. It can be passive. It's the people pleaser. It can be afraid, the doormat, despondent, indecisive, insecure, jealous, the martyr and pessimistic. The lesson I'm suggesting based around the 7 and the 2 energy for this month is to be patient and tolerant. Both the 7 and 2 energies are a slow-paced energy. All too often, we demand patience now. Can you recall your parents ever saying, "Dear God, please give me patience now," when they're dealing with you because you don't want to do what they're requesting? Or when you've been dealing with your own children who won't eat their vegetables, clean their teeth, get ready for school, etc. Patience doesn't come now. It's something we need to work on. Patience is one of the most challenging hurdles to overcome. It's about doing the inner work. And doing the inner work, it is much easier to embrace the respite from the hamster wheel that this year and more this month are putting upon you. Force nothing this month. Chances are It will backfire, you'll cut corners, it won't work. You're rushing, you may not have the best outcome. Just step back, observe, witness, watch, feel what's going on in that situation, whether it be in you personally or in others. Take time out. Note your progress over these last 3 months since January. It's there. Be grateful for what you have. Miss less of what you do not have. Start living life with no regrets. No regrets in the moment, no regrets in the day, no regrets looking back. Really connect to your feelings. Observe everything around you. Note what's going on personally, that's within, locally, your family, your home, your work. Nationally, know you are not alone in whatever it is that you might be struggling with on a bigger scale. And worldwide, we are all in this together. Everything is connected. Everything is energy. It's time to accept where you are by being honest and truthful with yourself and others. This can be called tough love, whether you're dishing it out to yourself or others, but never do it with blame or shame or vengeance. An eye for an eye does not pay off. And if you keep working the same system with the same ways, you're never going to get a result that you're looking for that is different. This month suggests you step back and observe. Ask for help from source, from above. Your higher self, your inner child. Basing things on illusion and lies will backfire. It will come back and haunt you. Bite you when you least expect it. Cracks always appear unless you tell the truth. Chances are, if you don't slow down this month, a major distraction will surface and test you. While we're dealing with the year energy and the month energy, we all have our own personal energy. This distraction could be, for example, we start the month with April Fools. That's a distraction full of pranks. But what if the biggest prank there is we are the fools? Let me share with you about April Fool's Day history. It is stated that it first came about in 1582 as France made the change from the Julian calendar by Julius Caesar to the Gregorian calendar by Pope Gregory XIII. Well, there's an unlucky number. April 1st was the beginning of the year in the Julian calendar. And in the Gregorian calendar, it begins on January the 1st. Is that why our circadian rhythms are out? Why do we have to set our clocks forward and back twice a year? Why does it feel like it takes a good week to get back into some kind of routine after the clocks are changed? Therefore, everyone who still celebrated the new year in the last week of March until April 1st was laughed at and called April Fools. What did our ancestors know? What has been hidden from us? Remember, the 7 is about secrets and deception. I've already said cracks will appear if we're not telling the truth. With the distractions that are brought up because of the universal energy of the year and month, look at how you would deal with it. And it may be you would deal with it differently from me because of where you are at in your own life journey, your own personal year and your own personal month. An example, last month, somebody I spend some time with is in the same personal year as me. We're both in a 2 personal year, which is all about patience, observation, relationships, support, etc. Whilst in the 2 personal year last month, we were in a personal month 5, expect the unexpected. Well, our expect the unexpected is going to possibly be around relationships, patience or something on that line. For her, unbeknown to her and in the moment, it was the first time she just spontaneously turned to somebody and told them they actually felt they were falling in love. For her, that was really unexpected and about a relationship. For me, my unexpected was believing I was going to a wedding and the wedding didn't happen as planned. My unexpected took a nosedive, and the result was my brother passing away. Hence why throughout this video you may see pictures of my brother or my brother and me as I acknowledge my memories and relationship with him. I'm going to tell you now, have no regrets. Your unexpected could be totally different from mine or my friends. It all depends where you are. And you most likely wasn't in a 5 last month like we were. Knowing your own numbers, knowing your own personal year, your personal month can help you navigate through what is going on. I do readings, consultations and mentorships. So get in touch if you want to go deeper on who you are, why you're here and what it is all about for you. Know that the 2 asks you to find peace in the outcome of whatever it is that you are facing. The 2 is a kind, caring, compassionate number. It's supportive, but if you're doing something, make sure it doesn't deplete you, but complete you. Both the 2 and 7 are highly intuitive. Feel your way through this month. Intuition. Great power comes to those who are willing to listen to the whispers of their spirit instead of the shouts of the world. Those who follow the guidance provided by their intuition walk through doorways of abundance, peace, positivity and compassion. Learn to listen and, most importantly, trust your intuition. That's where the answers lie. Not on the television, not under mainstream media, not with the government. What feels right or wrong for you, follow it. The 2 suggests being present, being in the moment. For being present and in the moment is the best place to be for insight to come through, for you to release what's holding you back, to receive the aha moments. By being here more often or always allows you to release the path and open the doorway for the future. I've shared before, one of my great mantras is, what do I need to do now to make my tomorrow better? What do I need now to make this situation better? What do I need now to make this day better? The day before my brother passed, the wedding was rushed forward. It took place in hospital. I didn't make it to that wedding, but after the ceremony, I had my moment with him. I was on such a high after that FaceTime, such a high seeing the bands on their fingers and the smiles on their faces. The nurses had given them some bubbles and a chocolate gâteau. I planned to see them on the Thursday because on the Wednesday he needed rest. I said to the person I was with, I was on such a high, but I knew the crash was coming. Never let something stand in the way of what your heart is telling you to do. When you live in your heart, you live in love, you live in authenticity, you live in truth, you're congruent. I love the 7 energy, I love the 2 energy. It doesn't always make you sad like I feel right now. It's very uplifting, it's very connecting, and it's filled with abundance. The 2 is about partnerships, relationships. Everybody is a mirror, a reflection to you. As a soul, we are whole and complete. The body is our earth suit. I still feel my brother and my other brother and my father and relatives that have gone to the other side. Honestly, now I feel like I don't have to travel to them or get in a queue just to have a conversation. They are there. Create partnerships with those here in the living and those in spirit. Both can help you along your way. Use the 2-7 combo to work on your relationships. That would be partner, spouse, parents, children, siblings, blended family, colleagues, neighbours, customers, shop assistants, call centres, the bank, hospitals, legal, education. Whenever you're making a connection, whether that be by text, email, phone call, face to face, how do you want to feel in that moment? What do you want resolved? Always set your intention and go through it with your heart. Know that every relationship starts and ends with you. People treat you the way you treat yourself and not always the way you treat others. Look at how you treat others. Is that how you would treat your best friend? Sometimes we don't treat family kindly. They've known us, we let rip, we blow out. Find other ways. This year, the 7 energy is asking you to go within and to do the inner work. The inner work is sometimes called the shadow work. There's a little video going around and I've taken some snaps from it. The little girl realizes she has a shadow. Her reactions are, what? No. No, I am afraid. She falls down. You will fall when you do this work. It will knock you down. Dealing with your shadow self is the way to stand tall and own your own power. If we were all our unique, authentic self that come with kindness, love and compassion, the world would be such a different place. They are thrusting fear at us. Don't let fear win. The flip side of all of these numbers is of the vibration, the lower vibration. What do you need to do to deal with the lower vibration of these numbers, the lower vibration of your emotions, and move to the higher vibrations? Don't bury your head in the sand. That's not the way to do it. You need to work on them. You need to understand that everything is energy and you are pushing it out there. You are allowing it in. In this video, I have a couple of exercises. The first exercise I'm suggesting is make a note every time you scold yourself, you reprimand yourself, you say to yourself, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're too fat, too thin, too wide, too small, etc. And then say all that again to the photograph of the younger you. Look at them. How would they feel hearing this? And more important, when you do the shadow work, you'll realize that you have shunned this child within. You have shunned the soul, the spirit, the authentic you. Note what you say to yourself. Does it pull you up or push you down? When we see a baby, all we want to do is wish them a great future and a great life. When does that stop? If life wasn't such a rat race, we'd have more patience, more time. We'd be in the moment more often. We're too busy planning our tomorrows, and tomorrow never comes. Live for today. All relationships start and end with you. People treat you the way you treat yourself. Remember, it's your life, spelled L-Y-F-E. Love yourself first every day. This is not vain or selfish. This allows your true light to shine from within. This becomes an inspiration for others to do the same. Whilst I'm on the topic of relationships, know who you are in a relationship with. Mainstream media. Is that who you listen to for your information? The government, social media, the supermarkets, insurance companies, your mobile phone provider. You think you've signed a contract with your provider. Well, here's a question I want you to contemplate. Where does that information go? Where does the insurance information go? Where does the supermarket information go? Where does your medical information go? Here in the UK, on the 23rd of April 2023, St George's Day, patron saint of England, we hear there is going to be an emergency broadcast. Why? Why do we need an emergency broadcast right now? What is it for? It's coming under the guise, perhaps emergency services need to be in place for a flood or a fire. We've gone years having all of this. No emergency broadcast. When that emergency broadcast comes, you won't know the time. You could be in a funeral. You could be in hospital. You could be at a wedding, in an exam. You could be somebody that doesn't know how to use your phone, with Alzheimer's, dementia. You might want to call your family, but you won't be able to. Because until you accept that emergency broadcast, your phone is disabled. And on accepting that emergency broadcast, you have put yourself into the contract with the government, with the powers to be. If they can stop you using the phone that day, perhaps they can stop you using your phone any other time. There is a way to turn this off, and I'm going to leave a link to a video in the description below. Know that you can turn it on at any point in time, and you may want to recheck it if you want it off every time you put an upgrade to your phone. On a different relationship, when taking a partner, how many of you will be in that relationship? The latest in the news is Brooklyn Beckham is now in a throuple. Is that what you want? The throuple, it may be a friend, an in-law, a sister, a relative that still feels or still acts as if they've got more power over the person you've entered the relationship with than you have. Things seem out of balance right now. When you truly love yourself, when you know yourself, you'll know the type of relationship that you want to get in and what you need to make it work. Know your boundaries. The only people who get upset about you setting boundaries are the ones who were benefiting from you having none. Boundaries are there for you to know your no-go zones, where you have the key for the door and you can unlock it. Loving yourself helps you work through all of this. The two energy can lead us to overgive, and we can become depleted, a doormat, a martyr. I've mentioned a number of times in this video that everything is energy. I want to share an experiment that I have done after watching Dr. Emoto and his water experiment. I'm not sure of the statistics because you read so many different, but Dr. Emoto used water by putting things that were disempowering and negative into it versus putting things that were positive and empowering into it. And you can see some of the iced water examples here. We, and this is where I don't know where the statistics are somewhere between 60–80% water. Imagine what the negative is doing to the water within us. And the example I did in a workshop with a number of people was to take an apple, cut the apple in two and pop half in a hate jar or a fear jar and half in a love jar. And then over a period of time, it was to give the love jar love and the hate jar hate. Whilst doing this, because I'm doing a lot of inner work, have been doing it for years, my hate jar wasn't really going anywhere. It was like, I don't really believe that's what it is. So what I did was I put my jar out of sight, the hate one. I rejected it. And as you can see, after 17 days of rejection, it started to degrade. Mold appeared. Our words are like swords. It's got the same letters in it. We're just moving the S. Be mindful what you say, what you think, what you feel. It affects the energy, as shown in the apples. Go do the experiment. See for yourself the results. This month is a slow month, so take time out. What really lights you up? What do you want? Spend it looking at your relationships with people, with things, the location where you live. How do you interact? How does it make you feel? Does it deplete you or complete you? Work on patience. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. This month is the month to use it in that order. Really hear, really listen to what people are saying, and listen and feel what they're not saying in order to create better relationships. I want to move back to the 7 energy, because from March 2020, when all this scamdemic began, I popped onto the Worldometer and I shared the figure. And every March 31 since, I have done this. What was interesting this time round, there were a number of days when it went down. There were no results. But hey, by the 31st, it was up and I got my figures. Just before I share these figures, remember what I said about the 7 energy? It's the number of the seeker, the searcher, the researcher, the analyst. It's also the number of deception, secrets, lies, manipulation. In 2020, according to the Worldometer, the world population was 7.77 billion. A year later, in 2021, it was 7.855 billion. That gave us a difference of 81.3 million. The population during the bug season, the sea bug season, grew by 81.3 million. In 2022, the same date, the population grew to 7.937 billion. And the difference for that year was 81.2 million. So again, with the needlecraft coming in, the population still grew. Now it grew at an inconsistent rate, an inconsistent daily rate. But what's interesting now, bearing in mind on November the 15th, last year, 2022, according to the Worldometer, we actually hit 8 billion. That happened in an 8 month. When I looked at the population figure for the 31st of March 2023, it was at 8 billion and 24,986,538. This, from the last year, was a very large increase of 87.8 million. So it's rocked up. And it's rocked up even though Australia have said, death riddle, mystery as Australians dying at levels not seen in 80 years, and UK might be the same. It states more than 174,000 deaths were registered in Australia in 2022, 12% more than was predicted. Here in the UK government confirms England and Wales have suffered 63k excess deaths in just under a year, and the BBC News has accidentally admitted the sea needlecraft is to blame. Take a hard look at these figures. Who owns the Worldometer? Who controls the algorithms? Who decides that we are overpopulated? Who watches the watchers? I've noticed, looking at these charts more recently, day on day, for every 2 births there's a death. We hear more now, personally, of people passing away. And in the statistics of deaths in this last year's Worldometer, 2 of my family members have passed away. They both received the needlecraft. The first sat in a chair, fell asleep and never woke up. And the second being my brother that was perfectly fit and healthy until late last year after he received 2 needlecrafts. Now my family don't hear me on this, so it's been very challenging. We don't really know what triggered it. I asked him what the consultant said. What made you get sick? And he did. He got very sick, and then he had immunotherapy and he got better externally. But internally, that treatment literally shred his lungs. He went from 2% to 60% oxygen in a snap of a finger. Who watches the watchers? Who decides the cost of everything? Who decides what our taxes should be spent on? I've stumbled into a new chapter of my life. Funerals. They charge an absolute fortune for cremation or burial. And today I see a headline here in the UK, dignity swings to a loss as people opt for cheaper funerals. The funeral firm reported a pre-tax loss of 328.6 million over 2022, compared with a profit of 32 million the year before. How much should it cost to bury the deceased? Who are you in a relationship with? Who do you allow to have power over you? When did you stop listening to your inner child, your higher self, source connection, your intuition? Call it back in. Now is the time to recalibrate. Now is the time to be your true, authentic self. Now is the time to say no. A hard word for the two energy. When I love myself enough, I learn to say no when I want to and yes when I want to. The most important thing you can do is realize that it's your life, spelled L-Y-F-E. Love yourself first every day. When you do this, you know how you want to be treated and you know how you want to treat others. This is your life. Take it and embrace it. And to conclude this video, I want to read a poem to you by Linda Ellis called The Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on their tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted first came the date of their birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth. And now only those that loved them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always look to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say and how you spent your dash? As a soul, you are whole and complete. You chose to come down at this time. The 7 is who am I? Who you are is love and light. What is my purpose? To raise the vibration from darkness to light. We are all energy. We are all in this together. Use this month. Take time out. Be slow. Observe. Connect. Let go of texting. Make a phone call. Let go of the phone call. Visit in person. Who do you need to spend your time with? Who do you need to avoid? Look at what completes you. Spend your time there. Look at what depletes you. Let it go. This year is about the shadow work. This year is about going within. This month is about your relationships. Every relationship is a mirror and a reflection to you. Every relationship starts and ends with you. You know it. It's your life. Live it. Embrace it. Love yourself first every day. Thank you for listening, bearing with me, being patient as I shared this video and at times got emotional. I conclude this video in memory of those we've all lost and loved this year. Rest in peace, brother. May they all rest in peace, and may you find peace on a daily basis from this point forward. Love and hugs to all of you. If you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, please do, and push that bell for notifications. And share with others. Let's raise this vibration. Let's connect heart to heart. Let's make the world a better place. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.